So Lattimore says it's 6:15. It must be 6:15. All right. How did we wait all this time? It's so late. All right. It is my pleasure to call this meeting to order. I see that we have all of the Lawrence City Council here, so we do have a quorum. Welcome, members of the public, to the very first meeting of Lawrence City Council in our very new home. We will begin tonight with an invocation, and I'll call upon Councilor Miller to lead us in that invocation, and then I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all please stand?
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you, Lord, for this building. Thank you, Lord, for this vision that has come to be petitioned. Thank you, Lord, for all what you've done, what you're going to do. Bless this meeting and let us agree to disagree in your name. Bless the city. Bless cities all over this land and country. Lead, guide, and direct our every decision that we make. Bless those who are less fortunate than we are. Bless the men and women fighting on the battlefield. Bless countries all over this land and country. Lead, guide, and direct us as you would have us to go. These and all the blessing we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. All right. We'll move on with our agenda to just a few opening remarks. I've been asked to remind everyone that the City of Lawrence will be celebrating Juneteenth on June 15th, and those celebrations will be held downtown. That is a festival that is free and open to the public. It will have a ton of entertainment, but also educational element to it, and the public is highly encouraged to attend. If anybody's interested in donating to supporting that cause, the organization that is organizing it is a 501c3, 3C, excuse me. And so all donations are tax deductible. As I mentioned previously, after tonight's meeting, I'll be glad to take anyone who is here and interested on a tour through the building to show some of the new features. But because we've been here and y'all probably heard enough from me, that will be the extent of my remarks tonight. We move on to the next item on the agenda, which is public participation and hearing. I see from the city administrator that no one has signed up. And so we move on to the consent agenda, which includes two items: approval of the council agenda for tonight's meeting and approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting of April 16th, 2024. Do I hear a motion considering the consent agenda?
I make a motion. Go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as bring.
Thank you, Councilor Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
And we have a second from Councilor Lattimore. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda as printed, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the consent agenda is approved. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is the only matter before City Council tonight, new business. First reading of Ordinance 4-24-1, an ordinance to provide for the levy of taxes for the City of Lawrence for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025, imposing certain fees and charges within such budget, to provide for the execution of and to put into effect the consolidated budget, and to provide budgetary control of the city's fiscal affairs and other matters relating thereto. This is, as council is aware, first reading of City Council's budget. It follows the form of prior budgets. It does adopt a millage of 123.5 mils, which is no change in millage from the previous year, and in fact, previous 35 years or so. And the entire amount of the budget is $9,750,476, which is actually a cut from last year. Are there any motions concerning this ordinance?
I make a motion that we receive on first reading ordinance 424-1.
Thank you, Councilor Campbell. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Oh, no.
We'll get it.
Okay. Mr. Whitmire called me and wanted to know why he didn't get what he's been getting for his school.
We discussed the discretionary funding at our budget workshop, and my understanding is those organizations that made a request in a timely fashion anyway were included. That's sort of.
Well, he said he turned his in time. I don't know when he did it, but he was wondering why he didn't get what he been getting.
Maybe Eric can help us.
I saw Councilman Lowry look at me, said I felt like on the spot. He did send one in, but he sent it after the workshop. Now, I don't have the budget in front of me, so I don't know the discretionary funds bill, but everybody that put in a request for that time, they were including in the work that we did at the budget workshop. So every formal letter included it.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. Just for the record, because did you have your microphone on by any chance? If you don't mind my repeating.
I'm failing at the technology here. I just wanted to make it clear that we did get a request letter, but it was after the workshop. Everybody that did put in a letter before the workshop is included in your budget workshop book. It's in the back, I believe. So I don't know where we fell on the discretionary funds because I don't have the budget in the complete form right in front of me. So that's kind of where I'll leave it.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. Any other questions concerning the budget as a whole? It is just the first reading, that's right. To Councilor Sullivan's point, in the event there are any amendments that need to be made, those can be made and approved at the second reading, if that is council's will. Obviously, we're not only approving the line by line, but the overall number that reflects the anticipated income to the city and the expenditures.
Now, generally speaking, I'm thinking that we gave him $1,000 a year,
Yeah.
but that's just from my memory.
Because he did not send his letter in a time, his request in a timely manner.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of passage of the ordinance 4-24-1 on first reading, budget ordinance for the city of Lawrence for fiscal year 24 through 25, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Hearing none, the first reading of the budget is passed unanimously, which brings us to the final order of business under the agenda, which is adjournment.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this first meeting in our new chamber council meeting, and, we had a good budget, good meeting outside, and I appreciate everything that was said and done. So with that, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank
Second
you.
motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I hear a motion in many seconds. I don't envy the clerk's job in trying to sort out who. So with that, if there is no
He had a
opposition,
whole page full.
we are adjourned. Thank you.